know it's airing tonight. You did it last week, but what was it like to do the Roseanne roast?
It was. I'm grateful. I'm glad I did it. You know.
Were you
very
considering not doing it when they asked you to?
Yeah. We when it first got announced a month ago or whatever, TMZ called my publicist and she said we haven't been asked and we're not doing it no matter what. Which, you know, that's the right. You know, my publicist is a very good friend of mine and has been with me a long time, and you know, you see things. She knows things behind the scenes that she hasn't even told me that have gone on. It's been a very acrimonious thing, not just your typical divorce. You know, there's been other situations, and so she cares about me. Plus, you move on. You know, at a certain point, you want to move on, and you know, it's been hard, but you know, I think it's time. So then I got about 3 weeks out. I got an email from the producer saying, "Did you call me today?" I wrote it back. No, why? Well, somebody called impersonating you and asked to do the roast. So I figured they're sending out a thing. But then I got to admit, I was interested. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't, because I'd done the Joan Rivers roast, and I after that I said I don't think I want to do roast anymore because I like Joan Rivers, you know, and so it makes it harder to make fun of, you know, and but the Roseanne roast I could see doing that. So you know, so I said let's talk, and so he called me back a week and a half later. And, you know, I could tell that, I sensed that they were trying to get her in a position to ask her about this. And I sensed that was hard. You know, and then he said, you know, her manager and publicist wanted to do this, but they haven't broached it with her, which is a big lie, I'm sure. But, you know, so, but I said to him, no matter what, if this gets comfortable to me, I still have to go to my publicist and my wife. And they can say yes or no. But I'm not going to override either of them. So let's not make this last minute if it does that, whatever. So it seemed like it was not happening. Then Tuesday before the roast, I get a call. Listen, Roseanne wants to talk to you. She's got to pitch you an idea to do at the roast. And so I talked to him and I said, I'm not going to talk to her because if she pitches me an idea and there's some back and forth, it could escalate and then there's no roast. Why don't you tell me what she had in mind? He said, well, she'd like you to dress as a waiter, come out in the middle of the roast and serve her a drink and then leave. And I said, well, that's a perfect example. That idea sucks. And if I told her that, that's stupid. And then there would be no roast. We'd be yelling. Wednesday, they call back. Now she's thought it over. She'd like you to come out in the middle of the roast. People have made fun of you already. So you turn to those people. You make fun of them. Then you turn to Roseanne. You give her a fist bump. And then you leave. I go, so I wouldn't be addressing Roseanne at all? No, it'd be great. I go, that's not great. I'm not doing it. It's stupid. People would be pissed. This is either on or it's not on. That's the way.
You wanted to be a full roaster or nothing at all.
Yeah, and I'd always planned to say something genuine and sincere at the end. You know, and so then Thursday I'm flying back from the Midwest, and they're like, whatever you want to do. So now I feel that she's getting pressure from Comedy Central or whatever. Like, you know, we need to amp this thing up, and this is a good idea. And so came home, I talked to my wife, and I talked to my publicist. My publicist said, no, this is an over my dead body thing. So I said, well, let them know. So we passed on Friday morning, and then people started calling, and you know, it's hard. I felt sorry for the producer. I felt, you know, because I could tell they just wanted to, you know, and I'm a producer too. And if I was producing that show, I'd want me to be on it and surprise. So it went on, and I'm leaving town on Saturday morning, the day of the roast, to go back to Nashville to shoot Redneck Rehab, my new show on CMT. And about 6 o'clock that night, I get a voicemail from Roseanne. This is the first time I've gotten a voicemail from her over 18 years. And so what I heard was she was, listen, Tom, I promise you we won't mess with you. It's from a good place in my heart. We just want you to do this. I think it'll be good for both of us. We'll bury the hatchet, whatever. So I think that's a nice message. So I play that for my wife and my publicist, and they're like, it sounds like she has a gun to her head. Women always have a different, you know, and she's reading it off a script. And I go, but it'd be, you know, I haven't got a message or something. And then at about 8:30, my publicist gets a call from a very good friend of hers that works the higher up at Viacom, which owns Comedy Central and CMT, my network. And they have a discussion for about an hour, and Stacy gives her point of view, why it's bad. The lady had no idea. She gives her point of view of what they could do, you know, how great this would be. Finally, Stacy, by now my wife is on board. That's a big thing. She's called my publicist and said, I'm on board, whatever it was, you know. And finally, Stacy said, here's what I need to get even my toe on this. Roseanne has to put in writing that she will say something nice about you, and I need to see what that is. She has not said one nice thing in 18 years. Why do we think she's going to do it now? She'll say they forced you on her. She'll say you showed up and unannounced, whatever. And these are not just crazy ideas. There's been things that have happened. I was doing a show after we broke up, maybe a couple years, on the lot that Roseanne shoots, and we're shooting the show on camera night with an audience, and I get new pages, as you do on the script, and they give everybody the same new pages, and they were just horrible things about me that I was supposed to be saying, and about my friends, Arnold Schwarzenegger and other people. And Roseanne had taken her writers, she knew I was doing a show on the lot, and had them rewrite the script I was doing, and then sent people in to hand out. And there was like kids there, and it was a kids show, and these were nasty things. It kind of threw me off, because it's tape night, And so, if she'll go that far, and there's other things, so I'm thinking of that, and that's been a while, but I'm thinking of that. And so finally, they call back and say, she has agreed, this is like 10 o'clock, she's agreed to say, thank you, everybody, for coming. And I mean everybody. She's like, that's not a nice thing about Tom. So about 11 o'clock, she calls back and says she has another idea. It's a little bit better, but not. So finally we said, this is the last chance. I got to leave town tomorrow. This is it. And by now they're like, we have a jet for you. You don't have to, But it made me laugh so hard, and it's so true to her, who she is. And I liked it that she couldn't say literally one nice thing in 18 years. It was killing her. So at midnight they called back and they had something. She agreed to say, "I want to thank Tom for coming. He was very brave, and he's always made me laugh." And to me, as an ex-husband, that's about the nicest thing an ex-wife could say. He's always made me laugh. I'm a dude, And my publicist points out, well, actually, to a woman, that's what you say about a guy that was an idiot. But he always made me laugh. It was like, but that was the best it was going to get. So we got on board. Then the lawyers got involved. And at 5 in the morning, they had the deal. And so I got up the next day, and Comedy Central did a great job of hiding this, because literally no one knew. I could tell the roasters, Jeff Ross, didn't know, nobody knew. And so, but I also felt something could go wrong, with him or with her. And so I went there, and they snuck me in. They had a tent built up, or whatever, nobody could see me. And I watched the live feed, and I thought I was going halfway through. It was more than halfway through. But I could see what people were saying. I could see, and then it was supposed to follow Ellen Barkin, and then they brought me out, and I could sense as I walked through the parking lot that the catering people and the people were like, "Oh my God, what is happening here?" Right. And then as I got backstage, the walls are lined with people backstage, of publicists or makeup and hair, or whatever, and they were stunned. They were silent, and I got up and looked at the mirror. I hadn't seen it. I didn't know what stage looked like. I'd seen it on the TV, but I never rehearsed or anything. I didn't know exactly where the teleprompters were, where the people were. I knew that Roseanne was to my left. That was the one thing I could tell. And so then Jane Lynch says, someone stopped by, wants to say a few words, Tom Arnold. And I think at first the audience did not believe it. Right. We thought it would be a joke, somebody impersonating me. And then I came around the corner, and they, I felt they gasped. It was like a shock. I could see the faces of the comedians, and the audience really got into it. And then, I did my thing. I eventually made eye contact with Roseanne, and I said something very sincere at the end. And then I started to leave, but I thought, I'm supposed to shake a hand or something, and I want this to. So I went to shake her hand, and she kind of had me kiss her hand or whatever, and then I went. There was an awkward semi-hug of some sort. Anyway, now I'm gone. Now I'm backstage. It's over. Getting my mic off, and then I hear her saying, Tom, I want to talk to you. Goes backstage, and this is now it's the first time we've spoken, because when she called me, I did not call her back. I left her a text that said, thank you for the offer. You're gonna have a great roast. You're gonna kick ass, Tom. And so she says, listen. She said, no camera. It's okay. I want to just say that I know why you were nervous. I get it. I know why you didn't trust this. I get it. But I'm very happy you came. And I hope you're happy too. You did great. And I really want to put this behind us. And I was like, that's great. And they're like, could we please get a picture of you two? And she said, yeah, I have to pee first. And so I thought that was my cue to leave, because if she really wanted a picture, she would be. So I left. And then Tuesday morning, I get a text from her. She said, why didn't you stay around? I wanted to take a picture. And I said, I thought you were super busy. And then she wrote a couple of nice things about her son, Buck, who is apparently a fan, and has said a couple of funny things about me over the years to her that were like, I can't believe you're married to Tom Arnold. Doesn't he only date hot chicks? So like, whatever. And so I thought that was very sweet. And so I tell a friend of mine, I was telling her the story, and I said, she goes, you didn't take a picture? I go, well, she said she had to pee, so I figured. She goes, Tom, she's a woman. She had to go in the bathroom and see what she looked like. If she's going to take a picture of somebody she hasn't seen in 18 years, she wants to make sure she looks good. And I never even considered that. That may not be true, but, it's, and I have to say, doing the roast, hearing her being funny and cackling over there, it reminded me why I liked her in the first place.